Hello and good evening. Before we get on to the news, we would like to, on behalf of Newsfirst, we would like to humbly apologize for the delay as we were facing a technical difficulty. However, our IT and engineering department worked tirelessly to rectify the issue and get us back live on air. A very good evening to you. I am Shaheen Jurangpati.
And I am Amina Mustafa. Let's start off with a look at the headlines for tonight.
Forces attempting to destroy the opportunity of building a new nation must be defeated at the elections. A statement by former President Kumaratunga. The UPFA requests the President to take over the ministry of John Amaratunga. Anura Priyadarshini says that the MPs of the alliance must let go of their portfolios. Police investigates a suspicious death of a child in a lodge in Colombo.
In our top story this evening, President Maithripala Sirisena took to Twitter to send birthday wishes to his US counterpart, President Barack Obama. President Sirisena's official Twitter handle tweeted the president as saying, quote, "Hope the President of the United States had a memorable birthday. I wish you happiness and strength to continue your exemplary leadership," unquote. President Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States of America, celebrates his 54th birthday today.
President Maithripala Sirisena today inquired into the well-being of Ananda Vithanage, who was critically injured following a suicide bomb attack in Boralaskamo in 2008.
Ananda Vithanage sustained serious injuries following a suicide attack targeting President Maithripala Sirisena, who served as the Minister of Agriculture at that time. President Maithripala Sirisena, who has a long-standing friendship with Ananda Vithanage, who served as a senior advisor in the Ministry of Agriculture, inquired into his well-being and spoke to members of his family. Maithripala Sirisena survived a suicide bomb attack on the 9th of October 2008 at the Piriven Junction on Boralaskamo while returning home from the Bulabotua fields in Bandaragama, where the National Harvesting Festival had taken place.
A businessman from Wattala was hacked to death early this morning. The victim was one who had suffered injuries in a previous attack as well.
M. Abisha, businessman from Bangalawata in Mabola, Wattala, was killed this morning when he was returning from the mosque with his son. He was 48 years old at the time of his demise and a father of 4.
He was alive when we were taking him to hospital, but he succumbed upon admission to hospital. He had gone to the shop with his son. The assailants had been waiting for them on the road. He was attacked right in front of his son.
The victim was a supporter of former chairman of the Wattala Mabola Urban Council, A.H.M. Naushad. On the 7th of April last year, he was attacked with sharp instruments by a certain group. Allegations were levelled against the former deputy chairman of the Wattala Mabola Urban Council, Tahir Reshan, and a court case was ongoing in this regard.
The minister who overlooks the police is from this electorate. Therefore, I do not believe that anyone else in other areas are under such pressure. There is a case going on with regard to the deceased and the former deputy chairman of the Wattala Mabole Urban Council under Minister John Amaratunga. There were attempts on his life and he evaded them. His right arm was not functional. He faced this incident for the second time in this backdrop.
I have no connection to this. Various names are mentioned. We have no connection with the deputy chairman of the Urban Council. The alliance needs to be held accountable for this. If I am accused in this, I will file a case for defamation.
I do not need to commit murder as mentioned by the mayor. There is a case relating to the person in question. Therefore, I do not need to kill them because I will be taken before the law. I'm afraid of being imprisoned. The mayor is attempting to send me to prison. He is attempting to sabotage my businesses.
Speaking at a media briefing convened by the UPFA today, UPFA Colombo district candidate Thilanga Sumitipala made a request from President Maithripala Sirisena.
brought in a motion of no confidence against John Amarathunga because he's a man who works against society. We have seen in the past how John Amarathunga has worked. We asked the President to take over the ministry of John Amarathunga until the elections are over.
A police investigation is underway over a girl who had died under suspicious circumstances at a lodge in Colombo. Police say the 2.5-year-old girl was dead upon admission to the Lady Ridgeway Hospital in Colombo last night.
Police says it has commenced an investigation based on the information that the underage girl had died under suspicious circumstances while at the lodge. Hulsdorf Magistrate Nishant Piris this evening inspected the lodge located at Messenger Street, Colombo 12, where the girl is said to have been residing. Our correspondent said that a man and woman who had engaged in begging in the streets together with their 3 children have been residing in the lodge for over 8 months. Employees at the lodge said that the woman had brought the deceased girl to the lodge several days ago.
The girl was brought here over a week ago. I started work at 7:30 last night and completed my shift at around 7:30 this morning. Then the man who was there told me that the girl who was brought in recently had fainted. He told me to wait and then left. I saw him half an hour later. I asked him about the child. He told me that the mother had taken her to the hospital. Then at once he went to the room, packed the bags and left with the other 3 children.
Police said that statements were being recorded from the woman said to be the mother of the deceased.
An individual was stabbed to death in Jampeta Street, Kotahena today. Police said that 4 assailants who arrived in a 3-wheeler had committed the murder and fled the area. The victim was identified as 33-year-old John Peter Rexy Regan. Several criminal cases have been filed against the victim and he was released on bail from one of the cases over a month ago. Police said that the 3-wheeler in which the assailants arrived in had been left abandoned after committing the murder. Police said that the suspects have been identified and that legal action was afoot over the murder. One of the assailants' brothers by today's stab victim.
Number of crimes reported from the city of Colombo. Bodies of an Indian couple found from a hotel in Velavata. Body of a murdered woman found in a travelling bag in Peta. 2 killed in a drive-by shooting in Blue Mandal. Today, stabbing in Jampeta Street, Colombo. Body of a child who had died under suspicious circumstances found from a lodge. For your attention.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga says that attempts being made by certain forces to destroy the opportunity to create a new nation at elections must be defeated. Former President Kumaratunga released a statement titled "The Upcoming Election and the Future of the Country."
In her statement, former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga points out that in order to protect the party, the primary objective should be to first build the nation and safeguard the victory secured on the 8th of January. In addition, the former president appeals from all Sri Lanka Freedom Party supporters to join with the force and the leadership that won the 8th of January polls irrespective of race. Former President Kumaratunga also stressed the importance of defeating all forces that are directed at spreading false rumours by terrorising the society in order to ensure a bright future for the citizens of Sri Lanka. The statement by the former president goes on to read that the public must be mindful to vote for only moral public representatives to take forward the victory that was achieved on the 8th of January and to build parliament into an institution that would fulfill the people's aspirations.
The Church of Ceylon has appealed to all political parties, the people, the government, the administrative police and the media to strive for a non-violent, free and fair campaign, election and post-election period. The statement bearing the signature of Bishop of Colombo, the Right Reverend Diloraj Kanagasabe, goes on to read that Parliament, being the highest legislative body of the country, is tasked with embodying the will of the people and enacting laws for the common good of society. It adds that those elected to Parliament are given certain rights and privileges paid for by the citizens of this country to carry out their duties honestly and for the public good. The statement by the Church of Ceylon goes on to say that it is sad to note that in spite of the people's aspirations for candidates with good moral standards to be nominated, this has been overlooked to some extent by leaders of the political parties. The Church of Ceylon appeals to the people not to accept the nomination of such candidates passively, but to make known their opposition to such selections, and finally not to be swayed by party loyalties alone when casting their votes. The statement reads that voters therefore have the sacred task of selecting only the most suitable candidates to be sent to Parliament.
The interreligious gathering convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
Today the people are considering the qualities of the candidates. They look into whether they are criminals. Have they been punished? Are they drug peddlers, operators of taverns, or involved in bribery and corruption? The people are concerned. That I believe that the people are prepared to elect the most suitable public representatives to Parliament. The only thing missing now is a Christian political party. We will never allow that to happen in Sri Lanka. This is because we are all citizens of Sri Lanka. We are being treacherous if we exercise a franchise based on religion, race or party. Therefore, all political leaders need to unite and create a new constitution. The various wrongs that exist in the current system need to be eliminated permanently. We need to elect intelligent, qualified and law-abiding individuals to the legislature. That is the responsibility of the people. If not, it is useless if we shout and label them as drug dealers and ethanol dealers once they are appointed to Parliament. The public must not misuse this golden opportunity that they have received.
We need good political leaders who will come in and play their role sincerely to the motherland. That choice depends upon the public people of this country.
Welcome back. Still in local news, at a media briefing in Colombo today, a question was raised as to whether the UPFA ministers have stepped down from their portfolios. The decision that we hoped for was not taken at the Central Working Committee meeting on the 30th. However, they have informed in writing that they have stepped away from their duties. 30 members have signed the document. They wanted to inform the Central Working Committee of their decision to resign from their portfolios. They have stepped down and will inform of this decision later. A decision from the Central Committee is not required for them to resign.
The United National Party responded to the statement made by former Minister Dilan Pereira at a media briefing yesterday.
Dilan Pereira brought 5 bottles of poison to a media briefing yesterday and named 5 members of the United National Party and said that the 5 bottles of poison should be given to them. Dilan Pereira, please do not speak on matters you know nothing about unless they can be proven. If I have given at least one sand permit, I am ready to accept any challenge. I asked Dilan Pereira to make such allegations only if he can prove that I have approved a sand permit to anyone through an open letter. Our only wish is that he would not use that bottle of poison on himself after the 17th of August. I request Dilan Pereira to safeguard that bottle of poison. He should lock that bottle of poison in a cupboard and hand over the key to his wife. Otherwise, there is a chance that he will consume that on the morning of the 18th. I do not like any misfortune happening to Dilan Pereira.
Convening a media briefing today, Deputy Minister Sujiva Senasinghe expressed the following views.
This is what the headlines say. It says that I made a threat. The B report does not mention that. This B report was produced because I mentioned that only loudspeakers cannot be used and that megaphones and buffle box speakers cannot be used. I am a government employee, I am a member of parliament, I am an attorney and I am the Deputy Minister of Justice. Despite of all of this, the officer was not directed to a medical checkup. Is this what you call good governance? Have we reversed good government or have we given to the officers, the IGP, the DIGs and the SSPs to do what they want? Good governance is dangerous. This can be dangerous in the future. This good governance could lead to bureaucracy. The IGP must resign. With regard to the death of Tajuddin, Anurasena Nayaka was the IGP and he tried to cover up the incident. The IGP failed to solve the murder. When we asked the IGP, he says various things. Certain police appointments were made by the group leaders of our party. This is what may have happened. I do not know what measures will be taken.
As the clock ticks for the general election, leaders of political parties continue to exchange jabs on the political stage. Here are some of the views expressed by political party leaders.
Sri Lanka Nidas Pakshe bedila.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party is split into two teams. One team wants to safeguard Mahinda Rajapaksa, so this team is only thinking about Mahinda's future, not yours. They are being hooted at. They are blaming the president. So they themselves know that they have no future from here onwards. When we build a new government, there will be a new kind of politics. We can distance ourselves from the extremist politics. And in another 5 years' time, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party can come forward as a purified party. I contested the election with the current president and I lost. He became president, leader of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, after I handed it over. But no one voted for Ranil Wickremesinghe to become Prime Minister, did they? 2 minutes after the President was sworn in, Ranil Wickremesinghe quickly took oaths as Prime Minister. The previous Prime Minister was not even removed. I do not think there is much use of a betel leaf which has been chewed and spat out. This ruler is now saying that he will start from where he left off from. The people of this country know where he left off. Can a person who served as Prime Minister for 2 years and a President for 10 years and do nothing for the country sit in the last row of Parliament as a parliamentarian and find answers to your problems?
Another edition of the series of meetings of the United National Party in the Hambantota district took place last evening in Beliatta.
This meeting in Beliatta, Hambantota took place under the auspices of UNP Deputy Leader Sajith Premadasa.
In the recent past, we saw state-sponsored terrorism. The entire Hambantota district was shrouded in fear. Ballot boxes were stolen. Polling stations were burnt. Who did this? Without any fear, I can say that these were done by the thugs of those who are seated in the highest positions of power. They made the maximum use of these thugs and later even disposed of them.
Issuing a statement today, the Friday Forum emphasized on the need for a credible economic vision.
The Friday Forum says many economic problems have not been addressed in the parliamentary election campaigns and debates. The Friday Forum adds the economic future of the country cannot be reduced to a debate on corruption, and in this context, the parliament election campaigns are an opportunity to question the political parties on their social and economic vision for our society. The Friday Forum goes on to say that political parties contesting the election are under obligation to give the public estimates of value for money spent on projects. It adds that all political parties should inform the public of the policy directions to meet challenges of sustainable human development. The Friday Forum goes on to note that the expanding expenditure has been met by rapidly rising borrowings from the public and lenders overseas, and the mounting public debt and the current policies cannot go on without beating disaster. Touching on investment, the Friday Forum notes that the rural people and the urban poor are increasingly neglected with little investment in their productive capacities, adding that the marginalized sections of our society, and particularly women, are further exploited by unregulated and high-interest levying financial institutions. In conclusion, it adds that the need of the hour is just a vision for reconstruction and the economic development that must emerge in tandem with reconstructing a democratic political culture.
A house was presented to the family of the woman who was killed in the drive-by shooting during the election campaign in Blumendal, Colombo. The presentation was made under the auspices of Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake.
Siti Farida Siti Nazima, a mother of 3, was one of the 2 supporters of Minister Ravi Karunanayake in the drive-by shooting that took place on the 31st of last month in Blumendal, Colombo. The relative said that she engaged in political activities with the aim of obtaining a house. Her wish was fulfilled as a house located at the Muadota Uyana housing scheme was presented under the auspices of Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake.
The Prime Minister recommended to me that the only thing that could be done after her death is to make the dream a reality. We have promised to provide a job to the eldest son of the family and secure the future of the other children.
With just 2 weeks left for the election platform is intensifying. Here are some of the views expressed on the election stage.
Some in our own party are saying that some of us are leaving for the United National Party. But they do not know the hidden meaning behind this. This means that the SLFP cannot form a government. They must think about the harm which is caused to the party through the scuffles they have and the things they say for votes. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party has divided into two factions. Right now there is a battle within the party as to whether they are to move forward on a democratic avenue or to the tunes of fascism. The regime led by Mahinda Rajapaksa has still not learnt a lesson from their defeat. They do not understand that they lost because they spread racism in the country. So because of that, we say to them that Mahinda Rajapaksa has lost, and come this election, it will be the end of the rest of them as well. According to my calculations, the UMP doesn't stand a chance of winning this election. I have formed governments and at the same time broken off governments. Nevertheless, I say to you that we will not allow Ranil Wickremesinghe to form a government on the 18th. We suffered defeat for 20 years because we took the wrong decisions. We are ready to rectify them. Now not only the UNP supporters, but supporters of the SLFP, JVP and various other parties who were asleep for 20 years are rallying for good governance. The United National Party constantly created an ideology in the country on fraud and corruption. However, after forming a government, they have committed the two biggest financial frauds in the country's history. One is the central bank bond transaction and the other is the deal through the Colombo Outer Circular Highway. It was said that legal action will be taken against all acts of bribery, corruption, thuggery, thievery and murder. The question among the people was, why is there a delay in this? There were 7,000 complaints and in a few days we will publish all 7,000 complaints in the newspaper. Of these 7,000, only 52 have been concluded. When forming the government, the UNP had the responsibility of fulfilling their promises mentioned in the 100 days program. But what did they do instead? They sorted out their friends' bank debts. They did not cut off the farmers' debt of 3,500 million. That is no surprise. Even 5 years after the war, the cost of living did not go down by a single cent. But we were able to give the people concessions within a matter of days. We increased wages by 10,000 rupees, pensions by 3,500 rupees, and we re-strengthened the economy. I must tell you very clearly that we will not allow for any divisions or the LTTE to raise their head in the country. Our party was affected the most by the LTTE. They were speaking of providing 1 million jobs. They are planning on reducing the state service from 600,000 to 300,000. They wanted to make this the miracle of Asia. Let alone the miracle of Asia, but a mother in labour cannot even travel to a nearby hospital because the roads are bad. If she tries to travel on these roads, the miracle, your child, will be born on the road. Constructing harbours where ships don't arrive has not benefited the people. Airports were constructed, but planes don't land. The people of Hambantota have not benefited economically. The Hambantota district has become one of the most rural districts now. Should Hambantota be developed or not? This government has failed to generate employment within this decade. We have presented a program in our election manifesto that we will create 1 million jobs in a span of 5 years.
Some children stay back after they are done with the O-level examinations. They wander around or they resort to obtain a lease of 400,000 to buy a three-wheeler and ride it for hire. But is that the dream that we all would like to pursue? That is not what we need. Policies were not implemented to fulfill dreams over a decade.
They should do what they said they would do to get votes. They should say what they intend on doing. They are saying things which are irrelevant.
We are still choosing from a bunch of uneducated fools who have not even passed their 8th grade. This is why they slept under the air condition in Parliament wrapped up in blankets. You need 6 passes and 2 credits to be hired for a job. But to Parliament we send murderers, drug dealers and rapists.
I have never done anything for my own benefit. I did change my party, but there is only an issue if I had changed my party to gain benefits and privileges. I didn't change my party because of that. If destiny has set a journey for me, it will definitely take me there. They're making astounding promises. It's like in a children's novel how they clung onto the tail to go to heaven. Similarly, these children are waiting to go to heaven soon after the elections. But what they will find is hell in addition to the one which was created before.
The
Mahatma Gandhi Scholarship Award ceremony was held in Colombo today.
Students who excelled in the GCE ordinary level examination were awarded this scholarship, which is an initiative of the Indian government.
Education is the main avenue of progress and development in all our countries. And for those who want to pursue academic education and higher education at the university, this constitutes the first gateway. There are other gateways that we have to go through. Nevertheless, at this stage, I must emphasize the need for English. If you are to become a successful graduate or to carry on with your professional and postgraduate activities. Similarly, the O-level should not be a barrier to those who profess other skills and who are competent in other spheres.
We are all aware that education plays a very important part in the development of human being. And education at the school and university levels are critically important in forming the personality of the person concerned, the student concerned, and also equipping him or her with the necessary tools to achieve success in later life.
And that is a look at Primetime News. Thank you very much for watching. I am Shahin Rampati.
And I'm Amina Mustafa. Good night.